just gotten married, maybe, less than a year in the marriage. They went out. After they came back, he said he wanted to eat. So the wife went into the kitchen to prepare food. While she was preparing food, he was being impatient. He came back to say, I'm hungry. Why is this food not ready? After a while, repeatedly coming to say he's hungry, the wife fled up. And she was like, what is it? Am I not cooking? Did we not go out at the same time? Didn't we come into this house at the same time? Why are you not telling me about being hungry? Why are you shouting about being hungry? The guy got offended. Why are you shouting at me? You are shouting at me. Before you know, he raised his finger, his hands on her. He slapped the lady. And the lady rushed into the room. You slapped me. Something that never happens in my family. My father has never beaten me before. This has never happened. This, if God forbid. She went inside, got bottle, broke it, ran to the husband and stabbed the husband. The husband fell on the ground. People rushed in and they rushed this man to the hospital. And that was the end of their marriage. You're welcome to Esteria Yaba. My name is Nwaka Okeogene. Today we are talking about I married a wrong guy. I married the wrong guy or the wrong girl, as the case may be. From observation, I see that a lot of times people get married having the notion that once they get married, everything is going to be like a fairy tale. They are going to be so happy. Life is going to be beautiful afterwards. A lot of times I see that ladies, especially ladies, before they get married, they have this notion that they are ruling me the house. Maybe they still live with their parents or some guardian. They feel, I don't want to be controlled anymore. I just want to go out there and be free. And one way they think that, once I get married, I'm going to be free. I'm going to be, okay. Even guys too have that notion too, especially if probably they are still living with somebody. They feel that, once I get married, all this, I'll just go get my own house, get married, and life will be beautiful afterwards. Then eventually, they get married. And they find out that it's not that, marriage is not that rosy. You've come to meet someone else who is coming from a different background, who has different notion about life, who is seeing life in a very different, from a different perspective than you are seeing life. And you say, we've been dating for so long, I know this person already. Dating is actually a different ball game from marriage, because in dating you don't live together, you are not in each other's space, you don't see yourself every day, every time. But in marriage, you wake up to see this person, you're sleeping to see this person, you're coming back from work, you're seeing this person. The mannerisms that probably you did not see during courtship or dating, you begin to see them, because now you live with this person every single day. Every single day you are living with this person. And I observe that married, newly wedded couples, because we are talking about this topic from the perspective of the newly wedded couples, because if they can storm that first 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year of marriage together, understanding and knowing some of these principles, they will have it smooth afterwards. Okay, so we are talking about this topic, looking at newly wedded. And sometimes they begin to say, this person is getting on my nerves, because you are beginning to see everything about this person and you begin to feel, this person is getting on my nerves. I remember some time ago, my friend told me one story. He was telling me about, it's not actually a story, it was actually a personal thing. He was telling me that when he just got married, his wife with all her luggage into the house, when she went into the room, she started pushing his clothes in the wardrobe to a corner of the wardrobe, and she started putting her own, and he was like, wow, so this is for real. This lady is not taking space in my house. She's not moving. My things are never going to be the same again. So from such things, issues can even arise. I remember for my own case, when I got married, that wardrobe issue was an issue for us, because my husband is a bit of a meticulous person. He likes to keep his things in a certain way. He keeps his bag in a certain way in the wardrobe. He wants that bag to be like that. At the end of the day, he wants to see his bag like that. When he comes, he will notice it, that something has gone, And for me, because I'm this kind of person that usually I keep my things in a funny way, and most times I'll be looking for those things. When I'm looking for something, I'm going to be searching everywhere in the house, irrespective of whether I know, whether I think that that thing will be there. If I don't see it where I think it should be, then every other place is going to be turned upside down. So when I first got married, I would bring out there was a day I brought out my husband's stuff, and I was checking because I was looking for something. I was looking around the house, I couldn't find it, so I went into his stuff in the wardrobe and I started bringing out things, and I was checking. Eventually, I still didn't see what I was looking for, and I arranged the things back. Oh, I kept it back the way I thought it was. But when my husband came back, he observed. He was like, what happened to my things? I was like, okay, I was looking for something. Why the hell were you looking for something inside, that kind of thing inside my bag? How would it even be inside my bag? And you know, from time to time, those kind of things kept on creeping up, and it was causing issues between us. We were quarreling. Don't put my things like this, don't put my own like this, you know. Eventually, my husband called me and said, we have to look for a way to resolve this thing. If not, we are going to keep having issues concerning this wardrobe. So he said, you can have the wardrobe to yourself, my dear. Just take the wardrobe, put your things in there, while we get someone to get a makeshift wardrobe for him in the room. So that's what we did. We eventually got somebody to make a makeshift wardrobe for my husband, where he started keeping his things, you know. And from there on, he had his own space, I had my own space. There was no encroaching, and you know, that one actually solved that issue of saying, oh, you touch my thing is not supposed to. Remember that we are from different backgrounds. We grew up in a very different way, so we are not alike in a lot of things. Though you might have similarities, of which that's what you should celebrate. You should celebrate your similarities, but there are little differences there. And if you are not careful, those little differences, if you don't know how to understand and handle those little differences, they begin to cause, you know, a lot of issues in the house. So that was how we solved that issue of the wardrobe, and we're living very well because nobody's encroaching on any other person's space. We're not, you know, I have my space and you have your space now. So some of these things that come up, there are things that you can do to resolve them. If you say you want to insist that no, we are one, we must continue to live together as one, you're going to be having a lot of issues with those kind of, because every time you're going to be getting into the other person's space, you're going to be, there will be issues. So that was how we resolved that particular issue. You know, I also remember, you know, there was another issue, because little forces that spoil the vine, little things that you think, oh, these ones are just little, they are the things that cause issues for newly married couple, especially when you know that this person that you've married is actually the right person. But because of this little thing, you begin to question yourself, is this person really the right girl? Is it the right guy? Is he behaving like this? That person is the right person if you have followed, you know, the actual things that you should look at before you get married. You know, I made a video earlier on the rules of dating. The rules of dating. If you have you follow some of them, you can actually look at that video if you've not watched it before. I'm going to drop it down in the description box. The link is going to be there. You can take out time to watch it. If you followed all these rules, you've chosen the right person, you've prayed concerning it, God has shown you that this is the right person for you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are just going to walk in and everything is going to be smooth. There won't be any issue at all. There will be little things. That depends on how you handle these little differences that will either make it become, you know, a mountain that can eventually lead to hate, eventually leads to, you know, you find out sometimes people are having issues in their homes, and you go to ask them, they've been married for a while, and you're asking them, what is the root cause of this? They can't even tell you. But if you trace very well, you will find out that it was one little issue that was left undealt with, that actually, you know, it started growing, hatred got into it, and before you know it, it became a mountain. Came in and was talking about, oh, he was going to be getting married very soon. And I thought, oh, let me just tell you something, my own experiences. So when we got talking, my husband was there, and this person was actually a relative of my husband. And eventually, I made a joke. I just teased my husband concerning something that happened when we were trying to get married. So I just said, I don't see what my husband did when we were getting married. I was laughing about it. But guess what? My husband did not find it funny that I was, you know, making that kind of a joke in presence of people. He did not find it funny. And that day, a little joke that I wanted to make turned into something else, and I even began to, get very angry myself. Like, why are you talking like this? Why are you, behaving like this? It's just a joke. Eventually, you will not believe that thing that I did led us to start keeping malice. We kept malice for the whole day. The whole day we didn't talk to each other because I was angry that why would he act that way? And he was angry, why would you be, making jokes about me in presence of people? He didn't talk to me, I didn't talk to him. We were just 3 months married at that time. And the next day we were supposed to be traveling back. Thank God for Jesus, actually. I was like, eventually it was because I would just say, I thought in my mind, I said, God, please, we are keeping malice and this is not your will for us. We had to quickly settle because, if God comes and meets us like that, if death comes and meets us like that, we are not going to be making it to heaven. So we quickly settle. But sometimes some of these things are lessons for you to learn. Now, 3 months into marriage, we were dating for a while. I knew my husband for a while. If you have watched my previous video, you know I've known my husband for a while before we got married. I did not know that that kind of teasing can, make him so angry. But I learned that day, and after that day, I never made any jokes. In fact, till now, I don't make jokes. I can joke with him when we are home, I can tease him when we are home, but I know I put a stop to that because I know that this man does not like it when you go out to go and make jokes, concerning him in presence of people. If I want to insist, my own family, we make jokes like this, and it doesn't matter, and I continue to make such jokes, it means that I'm calling for trouble. So when you learn some of these things, you have to start dropping them. You have to respect your partner. My partner doesn't like this. You drop that one. He likes this. You try to adapt it, or you talk about them. Those are the things that will make you eventually, you find out that some of these issues will become non-issues, they will become non-issues. There was a time I went to visit a friend of mine. When I got there, I met another friend of hers. When I saw this friend of hers, she had moved with her luggage, moved with her things, and she was crying and shouting and saying that she was just about 6 months in marriage, that I have married the wrong man. And in fact, I'm so happy that I'm not pregnant yet. That man is a useless man. This, that. I don't know what happened that day. But funny enough, I met this lady some time later. And now she had reconciled, she now has children. In fact, they've been married now for a number of years, more than 10 years. She was telling me that I shouldn't mind her concerning the last time I saw her. You see, some of those trivial issues, if not well handled, can lead to the breakage of a marriage. So that years later, when you ask the person, why did you break your marriage? The person will be finding it, he or she will just be feeling bad because he will see that thing is something that could have been resolved. It's something that was very, very minor, very trivial. But because of the way they handled it, it became like a major issue. In fact, those days I used to be, when I see the way marriages were breaking, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, they are broken. And I was single at the time. I used to be like, why is marriage? I used to be scared. I used to even be scared of marriage because of things like this. And this shouldn't be. It shouldn't be at all, because marriage is supposed to be something that is supposed to be interesting if there's understanding between the partners. There was another story that my cousin told me. Our friend had told her this story concerning his own friend. The friend's marriage had just broken at the time, and there was everybody was begging, there was turmoil everywhere. The guy had said he was not interested in the marriage anymore. What happened? They both went out, and the wife was pregnant at the time, and they had just gotten married, maybe less than a year in the marriage. They went out. After they came back, he said he wanted to eat, so the wife went into the kitchen to prepare food. While she was preparing food, he was being impatient. He came back to say, I'm hungry, why is this food not ready? After a while, repeatedly coming to say he's hungry, the wife fled up. And she was like, what is it? Am I not cooking? Did we not go out at the same time? Didn't we come into this house at the same time? Why are you not telling me about being hungry? Why are you shouting about being hungry? The guy got offended. Why are you shouting at me? You are shouting at me. Before you know, he raised his hands on her, he slapped the lady. And the lady rushed into the room. You slapped me. Something that never happens in my family. My father has never beaten me before. This has never happened. This, for God forbid. She went inside, got bottle, broke it, ran to the husband and stabbed the husband. The husband fell on the ground. People rushed in and they rushed this man to the hospital. And that was the end of their marriage. A baby on the way, and the marriage was already broken. A baby on the way, marriage was already broken. Eventually, I was asking myself, if they had handled this issue in a slightly different way. For example, maybe the guy now knows that, oh, my wife doesn't cook on time. She takes her time to cook. She's never ready to cook. In fact, when you are hungry, that's when she wants to go to the market to go and buy the ingredients for the food. What does he do? Marriage is a partnership. Don't say it's her job to do. If you see the weakness in your partner, step in somehow. Step in somehow to solve that issue. If he had said, okay, my wife is like this, okay, let me buy the ingredients in the house. If the ingredients were not the issue, okay, let me just prepare something for the house, since I know my wife takes a lot of time. Or if it's the type that says, no, a man doesn't enter the kitchen, of which I don't really believe that should be right. If it is the type that doesn't even know how to cook, he doesn't know how to boil water, he can say, okay, let me buy bread, let me buy biscuits, let me buy something that will be a stopgap, so that way, as long as my wife is going to be taking so long to cook, I know she's going to take so long to cook, let me be helping myself with this biscuit or with this bread. Because marriage is patience, is tolerance, and he starts to eat that while she's cooking. Probably this issue would not have come up and they would have still been married. Understand? Or if the wife on her own part has said, my husband doesn't joke with his food, he cannot bear hunger, let me buy something that will be a stopgap in the house, or let me try to prepare something that I will always just microwave and give to him as a stopgap for him to be eating while I'm preparing the main meal. All these things would have been averted. Or if she had probably, even when he was shouting, she said, okay, let me just keep quiet and, keep quiet until the food is ready, and just be saying, oh, I'm sorry, the food will soon be ready. Because sometimes some of these things, because I believe that couple, eventually, years to come, they will look back and say, oh, that was such a trivial issue. How come we made a mess of our marriage because of that? So you see, marriage is a partnership. It's something that you have to give and take. It's not something that you say, oh, I'm expecting all the time. You have to bring something to the table too. You don't say, because this my partner has some weaknesses, I'm going to be, focusing on those weaknesses. This person has some strengths. Focus on the strengths. Focus on your similarities. Leave those minor things, those differences. Work on those things rather than make them, become like a mountain that you now focus on, especially for the newlyweds, because they begin to say, no, this is not the guy I should have married. This is not the girl I should have married. No. Even when you pray to God and God himself with an audible voice from heaven tells you that this is your husband, doesn't mean that you are not going to face challenges. It doesn't mean that you're not going to see differences, because I can't really call them challenges. They are just minor differences that if you know how to handle them, there will be no issues. There will not be issues eventually. There was also another place. In British one, they are talking about toothpaste that somebody is pressing like this, toothpaste that somebody is doing like this, wasting it. Are there no ways you can solve that? Can you not buy 2 toothpaste in the house and label one? But if I buy 2 different brands of toothpaste, buy toothpaste, two different brands of toothpaste, give one to your husband, you take one. That issue is solved. So why are we making an issue out of it? Well, say he's pressing toothpaste from the beginning, I'm pressing it from the end. I don't just like the way he's pressing the toothpaste. He's always wasting toothpaste. He's always, when he presses it from the middle, there's a way the toothpaste now looks. Issues that should be non-issues. If it is a big deal to you, buy 2 toothpaste. And another thing is that we should not also trivialize issues. Don't trivialize issues in marriage. Don't say, you can imagine the common toothpaste. That's what she's complaining about. In fact, let it be like that. No, instead of trivializing it, look for a solution to it. Instead of trivializing that issue, look for a solution to that issue. Don't just say, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a small issue. It's a toothpaste issue. That toothpaste issue, because that's what she has been used to, she's going to start feeling somehow towards you because of that little issue. It's little, but it's not little to her. Take it seriously and look for a way to solve that issue. buy 2 toothpaste in the house like this solution I'm giving. Buy, I don't want to call the names of brand. Buy them and give to this person, give to that person. Okay? And that issue is solved. You will find out that if we look for ways, especially for the newly married, because I see it so much with the newly married, just marry and you think that that's when they should still be in the honeymoon stage, but they are fighting already. These are the things, the little things that are coming up that is making them angry in the house. He's keeping his clothes somehow. He just comes and he throws his clothes on the chair when he comes back from work. He doesn't put them inside the laundry bag. Look for a way around it. Look for a way around it. And for you who they are begging to please do some things, look, if that thing is a nice thing, try and change. For me, there was a time in my marriage too, when I just got married. I wasn't used to putting off lights in the house. But my husband is the kind that he always likes to put off light when he's, you are not in this place. Why is the light on? But for me, I can be in the living room and the light in the room. Everywhere is, the lights are all on. It was an issue initially in my home. Initially in my home, it was an issue. My husband would come back, why are all the lights on? I would say, my God, he has come again. That's how it feels. What is the big deal about light anyway? What's the big deal? Is it not just bulb? Is even energy saving bulb? How much is it costing? You will just be feeling that way. But if it's an issue for your partner, you try. I started trying. I started struggling to, once I'm leaving a place, I switch off the light. And even my husband, you have to look for a middle ground. Look for a middle ground. Even my husband, he stopped complaining about it, and he told me years after that. I just left it. I said, let me even leave it. If she puts on the light, I go there to put it off. That's all. I don't want to make it an issue. I don't want to fight with my wife because of lights. So you have to come to a middle ground. You love this person. Don't think that, this person is the rump. It's not the rump. Anybody you marry, that person will come with their differences, because you are coming from 2 different backgrounds. Even your siblings that came from the same background with you, even your parents that gave birth to you, you still have differences with them. Yes, because they are different people. They are structured differently. So there's nobody that you are going to marry that is going to be right for you if you want to say because there's this tiny issue that person is not right. There's nobody like that. It's just for you to get to a middle ground. Understand that marriage is a partnership. It is a partnership. You have to understand that. You have to come to a middle ground. You have to, make the little things that make them little. Make them the way they are little. Just put them in that space. Let them be little. Don't magnify them. Okay? Don't magnify them. Don't make them become like a mountain that eventually you begin to develop hate for somebody that you once loved because of these little things that are, creeping up. Eventually you will find out that as you grow older, you begin to fuse together. You begin to, do things alike. That's why you hear people telling older couples that, you people are not behaving alike before they start to say you are looking alike. You find that if you want to ask them, they were not like that from the beginning. They had their differences. But over the years, they begin to fuse, they begin to behave alike, they begin to do things the same way. This person said, we even look and say, I didn't used to be like this, so I have changed. And I think we should actually be changing for the better. For the better. If you have some things in your life that are not good and your partner is complaining about them, try to drop them. Try to get to a middle ground with that person. Don't insist that this is how I've been living and I will continue to. In marriage, you'll be accountable. Don't say I'm going out and that's how I used to go out. I don't have a reason to tell anybody where I'm going to. No. You are not married. You are accountable to this lady, to this man. The things that you do, I can't buy things. I can buy things where I want. No, marriage is not. It's about accountability. It's about responsibility. It's about understanding. And until you come to that point, you're going to be having a lot of issues. Until you come to that point, you have to come to that point so that you will have a better marriage. That man that you married, it's not the wrong guy. That lady that you married, it's not the wrong lady. It's just for you to come to this understanding, have this knowledge, okay? And your marriage will be better for it, okay? I want to thank you very much for staying with me to the end of this video. I want you to subscribe, like, share, and turn on that notification button so that whenever we upload any video, you'll be the first to know. We are coming up with something very interesting again. I always promise you something very interesting, and they are quite educative too. Okay, so until I come your way next time, my name is Nwaka Okeogene. Stay blessed. Ciao, ciao. Adios.